HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy, here to fill you in with what is happening in Hopkinton. On today's edition of HCAM News, the Hopkinton High School Spring Concert takes place. Eric Carty talks weather trends, plus much more. But first, the Elementary School Building Committee recently hosted a public forum. The Elementary School Building Committee hosted a public forum regarding the new proposed school. Part of the discussion involved classroom design.
So one thing as we look a little bit ahead too, and we look at even just the basic classroom, this is getting a little bit ahead of where we are in the design process. But we see what makes a modern classroom really shine. And one of the things that we do typically in new school classrooms is disperse the whiteboards around the room. That allows the students to break out into different groups. It allows the teachers some flexibility with how they set up their room. And it also is useful as a modern school with the marker board is also magnetic, so it becomes a usable tack surface within the school plan. We also know that with activities and project-based learning, having ample storage is paramount. Even on a wall full of storage, we have the sliding doors that cover the storage as marker board space. So that allows, again, for that disbursement of whiteboards. Within the room, we have the really good visibility out into the hallway. You could see from the pictures, but there's also natural safety and visual cutoff lines so that this triangle that's shown in the plan here is a get out of sight space. So as part of the integrated thinking with sustainability and 21st century learning is also safety. This means that although we may have a blind on the window and any interior glass, the blind does not and maybe should not be pulled in the event of emergency, and the students can easily get out of the line of sight. The integrated concepts of sustainability include things like the window patterns on the outside of the building. We know that daylight can improve learning and test scores, but it needs to be controlled daylight. So we usually are able to limit the amount of glass on the outside of the building, but make it more effective so that it becomes an energy efficient building, but also very high quality as far as the natural daylight within the room. That daylight can be bounced effectively as it comes in the window back up to the ceiling. So sometimes we include light shelves that refract the light back up to the ceiling. And of course, acoustics are also an important part of a 21st century modern classroom environment. So reinforced sound systems are typically a part of that. I do want to share that starting today, actually, we are diving a little bit deeper into the design with the faculty and staff. So this is part of the normal process where we've had a number of community forums and faculty forums and been receiving feedback. This is our chance to go into a lot more detail into each of these subject areas, meeting with small groups of the faculty and staff, and talking about what needs to be in the room, what they have now, what the future looks like, what works, what doesn't work. So we're really excited, and so far the teachers are really excited too, to provide a little bit more information on how we shape these rooms. This is just an example of the 12 subject areas that we're going for. Some of them are kind of big and broad, so it's not really 12. It's really expands beyond that.
You can find the full community forum at our website, hcam.tv, or our HCAM YouTube page. Hello, everybody. We are here with Eric Carty, your water and sewer manager. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. Thanks as always for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. We always love talking to you about what's going on at the DPW and, of course, weather trends, and we'll do a little bit of that today. Before we get into the weather trends, can you talk about what's been happening at the DPW? I know you guys have been very busy, and now we're getting into construction season as well.
Yeah, we pretty much, lucked out in terms of major snowstorms this year, which was good. So the guys, there was some pretty decent icing events that they were out quite a bit, but for the most part, didn't receive any huge amounts of snow, which was good. We have had a lot of rain, so we've been dealing with some of the flooding issues. We've also had a lot of leaks lately, so the guys have been dealing with that and getting the system back up and running, including a pretty big one that we had several weeks ago that pretty much affected the whole town. So thankfully, those only happen every 3 or 4 years because they just can really wreak havoc with the system. Other than that, we're now into spring mode. We're getting close to the marathon, so all focus is on that. Both the highway, water, and sewer departments will be out there. For us, we go out and we check all the water gates, make sure they're all ready. They're going to be paving downtown this week, so we'll make sure that all those boxes are leveled off and good to go, and check that everything's ready in case there is an emergency, be able to respond in a timely manner.
I'm curious, with the lack of snow, how are the water levels?
So even though we haven't had a lot of snow, we've had a decent amount of rain. January, we had almost 10 inches of rain, which was significant. We had just about 2 weeks ago, too, we had what was then forecast to be a pretty good snowstorm, turned out to be all rain. So we had almost a total of 3.5 inches of liquid between the snow that we did get melted and the rain that we had. So for the most part, we're starting out well with recharge. I was just noting over on Maspinock, we're already at a higher level than we were for the entirety of last summer. Last summer was the lowest that I've ever seen the lake since I've been over there. And it was always a foot below the spillway and never got any higher. And we're already, approaching the spillway, about 8 inches away from being full, which is a good sign. There's been quite the event. I'm sure everyone's seen it out in California. They basically call it an atmospheric river, where they just had storm after storm with up in the mountains. It's been snow. They've had unprecedented amount of snow. They've had over 400 inches in some spots, and that beginning to melt. They're finally out of a severe drought for the first time in 3 years. And as those storms, they matriculate their way across the country, and we end up being the beneficiary, if you want to call it that, of what's left over. Thankfully, we haven't got it to the extent that they have, but we've had enough rains that have been able to sustain the water so far. So the big thing is we always can have a wet spring and then get into summer and can go right to dry. So every year when we'll be ready to do our mandatory restrictions, which are required by the state, and I always put a letter out when I send that notification out just to remind everybody we can't take it for granted that because we've had a wet spring, it's going to stay that way. We still need to be very conscious of our use and make sure that we're using it wisely, because the weather can turn, as we know, pretty quickly into drought. And it's forecast to be a warmer than normal summer. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think California got all the snow that we were supposed to get, or at least took ours as well. So that's good. It's been pretty wet so far, but yeah, of course, you don't know if it's going to be dry or not for the spring and the summer here. What's your long-term predictions? You said the spring's going to be warmer than normal. Can you give us an idea of how warm you think it's going to be, and what you think the spring and possibly summer is going to be like?
Yeah, so I follow quite a few people that they like to go back and they look at what they call analogs, and they look at similar years and how they set up, how the winter played out, how the spring is, and how the systems are setting up around the country. And right now, their forecast is for a wetter and actually kind of cooler than normal spring. But then when we hit summer, for that to not totally dry up, but be drier on average, and then warmer than average through the summer. So they're pretty much right so far on this March. March has been pretty wet and definitely colder. We've had some 60-degree days and actually got out golfing a week or so ago, but then we're back here. We're in the 30s again today. So it depends on the day, but with those storms coming in from the West Coast there, looks like we'll be alternating back and forth between a little bit of storminess in at least through to mid-April.
But We're not getting any snow. I think that's for sure, right?
Pretty much. Well, hopefully that's done. Although you never know. May 1977. I was a kid, but I remember that well.
That's
quite a
true.
surprise.
All right, so you're saying a cooler, possibly wetter spring and a dry, maybe hotter summer.
Warmer, yeah, warmer than average is the current forecast by the experts.
All right, I like it. Eric, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us, and as always, it's good to catch up with you, and we'll do it again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
We are going to take a quick time out. A whole lot more HCAM news ahead. Don't go anywhere. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. Hopkinton High School recently hosted their spring concert. Here's a look.
Resting in Cleveland.
The Select Board confirmed the town manager's appointment of Diane Hendrickson as a treasurer-collector.
This will be an internal promotion. Diane has been with the town of Hopkinton for 16 plus years, starting as the interdepartmental secretary for the public schools, then worked as the administrative assistant for 5 years, and has been our assistant treasurer for 11 years. She is a certified assistant treasurer, a certified assistant collector, holds a Bachelor of Science Business Administration degree.
I guess I just thank you for the opportunity to take the job, and thank you for all the support I have in the finance department. Tim O'Leary, the finance director, and the assessors and the accountants and the 2 administrative assistants and the payroll manager, all are very supportive and will help me do my job. And we work good as a team. So I'm very pleased to take the job and again, to work with a great team. Thank you.
The Select Board also confirmed the town manager's appointment of Allison Keeney as Circulation and Technical Services Supervisor at the Hopkinton Library.
This is another opportunity for us to celebrate. The town has made a commitment to ensuring high quality library services for the community, beginning first with the expansion of the library, secondly, requesting directly that we have expanded hours to allow townspeople to access the library 7 days a week. And as part of that process, working together with the library team, the trustees, and town meeting, we created additional positions, and am pleased to share that the request before you tonight is our first attempt to fill the Circulation and Technical Services Supervisor position.
Just thank you all very much for the opportunity, and I'm very excited to get started soon and work in your wonderful library.
It's time to take a look at everything you should know happening in town. Hiller Sports continues on HCAM for the Hopkinton Hiller spring season. Wednesday, April 12th, we have girls lacrosse and outdoor track. And then we have baseball on Thursday as they take on Xavier and Brothers at 4 p.m. Then Friday, baseball and softball take on Ashland, scheduled at 4 p.m. For all the information on upcoming HCAM Hiller Sports broadcasts, head to our website, hcam.tv. Our picture of the week, Hiller Softball, taking a nice team photo after their season opening win against Medfield. This is courtesy of Hiller Athletics on Twitter. A great team photo and a great win for the Hillers to start off the 2022-2023 spring sports season. Upcoming town government meetings include on Tuesday, April 11th at 6 p.m. We'll have the Select Board meeting live. On Monday, April 10th at 6:30 p.m., we'll have the Upper Charles Trail Committee meeting live. For more information about meetings on HCAM, head over to hcam.tv/gov. And for more information about town government meetings, you can head over to the town website at hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News, but don't worry, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., we'll be back. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. As always, we thank you for watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.